Namaste, I'm Mona Flynn. Thank you for joining me. Today we will practice with a wall. You might have small wall space, wide wall space. I'll give options. We will take on a good standing practice and even a seated practice at the floor with the wall. You will need blocks, a strap, and a blanket. Let us begin. We are starting with mountain pose with a little bit of distance from the wall and with hands reaching back to press fingertips into the wall. So when I press back, my hands are not necessarily needing to give a big push, but they keep me from having a huge back bend. They keep talking the back bend into the upper rib cage, and it so opens the heart, it opens the front body. Feet together unless knees come together first with this variation of mountain pose. Drop the chin toward the chest. Notice the light push into the wall, how it engages the abdominal wall. How all the back body turns on to remind you that your past supports. And the body is willing and open to what comes to present and how we open to what's ahead. That is the intention of our practice, opening our minds and our heart to the potential of what is present and what comes to us. What comes to us comes for us in our favor. The universe opens to you. Let's find all of those potential lessons in our practice. Let us begin. While you change the angle for your arms, go a little bit wider or come a little bit more narrow, change the angle so your shoulders don't get tired. Slide one foot back, and place the heel on the wall, the toes on the floor, and push. And look down. Look down and notice where your knees are and if they are flush. So from the side, I look like this. I want one foot so that it is propped up, heel is on the wall, but my knee is not ahead and it's not so far back. My knees are all on one plane, they are flush. So think about that. And then lift your gaze and look slightly up. Notice how there are more muscles in the back body that are on. Notice how you feel centered, that your head is the plumb line still, and that you're not leaning to the side. And if you notice that you are, use this to come to center. Let's switch the other foot to that front position. That should give you the chance to not have to remeasure. And this time, if you have a chance to go wider, please do, and push. And lift your gaze. Look down. Look up. Notice how your neck has a little bit of work to do because we spend so much time looking down that when we look up, we begin to recognize we need to be stronger here. And then relax. Step back, all the way back with the wall. If what you need to do is walk away from where your screen is and walk to another area of the room, know that you will aim to put your hands, back of the hands, on the wall. And right now, I want to slide my hands up so they are in a V position. And then I want to pull them down so that they are almost in a W position. If your hands don't reach the wall and if it's too much of a chest opening, then you can keep them away from the wall, but put your head on the wall, put your pelvis on the wall, and don't put your feet forward so you lean back. Just walk up to the wall, let it support you. Come to your V, and then down to your W. You might not like it. It might not feel so great. It might feel tedious. But here is where we will strengthen the rotator cuff muscles. From the V, past the goalpost, to the W without hyperextension. It's a wonderful way to strengthen the back of the shoulders. Let's continue. We're going to step forward into our warrior one, and we'll keep one heel with the wall. My heel is touching the wall. this big giant step forward. And my back foot has this neutral turnout. My heel is not high like a high heeled position. It is flat with the floor, but it's rather interesting that this little bit of push with the wall gives some nice strengthening and a little bit of a rebound energy. Take the arms wide, bend the front knee, and come and fold. As you fold, the back heel gets to push the wall a little bit more. And inhale, come unfolding, do it again. Exhale, get there. Nice. Inhale, come unfolding. And this is a wonderful way to just strengthen all of our core muscles from the armpit down to the middle of the thighs. Everything holds on and braces you through it. Let's change it. Hinge just a little bit. And this time, if you will, lift the back heel and put your back heel on the wall. Your toes are on the floor. The heel is on the wall. The front foot is flat. And what you can do now is take the arms wide, fold a little bit more. Notice how the back foot is really in charge. And decide if you can aim to fold deeper and aim toward the toes, and then come back upright so your back is straight. This so strengthens the back in a gentle way. Exhale, fold. Front knee is bent, back leg is straight. Inhale, come unfolding. We'll do this a little differently later, but what gets to happen here every time you unfold is that all of your back muscles cinch up. They share the load, they bring you up, and this is very functional. Come all the way upright now. Take the arms high. Your back heel is high off the floor in your warrior one. Sometimes we lift the back heel off the floor in our warrior one. And isn't it wonderful that we don't have to have such a huge long pose to have a benefit from this? Take the arms wide. We have one more thing to do here. We are going to turn. The front leg tells you which way to turn. If your front leg is the right leg, turn to the right. The upper body provides the twist. You might run into the wall with the back hand. If you do, push into the wall. It's not important how far you go, but that you make it yours. And then inhale and come on back. Step the back foot to the front foot. This way you will be doing exactly the same from the other side. You will be working to balance how you are aiming for mobility and strength. So I have to wiggle a little bit and find my place to the wall safely. And we are starting with the back foot flat. Front knee bent, arms are wide, and the back leg is straight. Here we go. Folding and unfolding. So this might not necessarily be the form of getting into the garden on a bright sunny day and getting some work done, but these are the muscles that we need to strengthen to keep us enjoying all the ways we get out into the world. Now, come into your fold and lift the back heel. All 10 toes point forward. The back heel is on the wall. The toes are on the floor. Come upright. Just notice this place. And this time, aim lower. It's not important if you make it to your toes. That's not the point. But just to aim lower and then to inhale and come upright, and to do that with repetition. Exhale to get there. Inhale to come upright. One more time, please. And it feels good because it's a shared load. It's not overbearing. Now, turn. Again, the front leg tells you which way to turn. The back heel is on the wall. The toes are on the floor. You might run into the wall, in which case you want to push. If it feels too tedious, keep it light, but it will lend itself to a strengthening. Notice any habits. It might be that you're inclined to want to move the hip to the side. Stay with that plumb line. And then inhale and come on back. Step the back foot to the front foot, and that makes for a nice warm-up. We're going to embrace warrior two, and then we're going to get to a side angle pose. And I want us to just notice, if by chance you have a wide wall space, we're going to use the entire breadth of the wall, and I just want to show, because then I'm going to give an option. If you have a wide wall space, then we will start in warrior two. The whole back body is on the wall. You will come into your side angle pose and have the wall behind you. And then you will come into your half moon and you'll have the wall behind you as well. If you have a narrow space at the wall, you still have a great advantage and a different set of advantages. You will start with your feet wide. The back foot is turned in and your outer heel is with the wall. The front foot is turned out. And you will start the same way. Oh, here comes my warrior two. My back heel is with the wall and I can come into my side angle pose. And the stability from pressing the back heel against the wall is amazing. The challenge, and equally a great balance point, is if I wanted to do half moon with a narrow wall behind me, in which case I could put the back foot at the wall and be all on one plane, and both feet have somewhere to push into, and there's a support system. My front foot turns out, stays in that turned out position until I return. So you may already be in those poses. Continue with them. I'm going to repeat so we are giving time to everybody to get there and enjoy this practice. We started with warrior two. We want to build time in each place. Looking over the front hand gives us the opportunity to just pause and allow that sense of anticipation to help us enjoy all of these small challenges, each with support. Come on in if you're not already there. Many options in this practice. Keep the bottom arm and the bottom leg pushing into each other. Decide if you can look up and back. Does the top hand have the chance to go over the head? Do you need to give it a break and keep it behind you? And when you are ready, whether the wall is behind you or for the back foot, there's always the challenge, a little bit of courage is needed to come shift into that half moon. No matter what support or style of half moon you take on, give yourself the challenge of not always looking down. If you need to look down, do, but then look ahead. Bend in that bottom elbow and tip your way into a little bit more. Let the back leg go higher to support you, and then come back up. You're just teasing some tightness out of the body, challenging your sense of balance. And once you've had enough, bend in the standing knee, step back slow and controlled, return to that warrior two, the grounding aspect of it, and then walk the feet in. This beautiful, empowering practice. Standing poses give us that. Let's do the other side. So again, you could use the broad wall space behind you. Everybody knows what to do now. Anticipate building time. This time, I will spend more time with the folks who are going to go with a narrow wall. My back foot is turned pigeon-toed slightly in. Both feet are flat with the floor. My block is ahead and ready. I am walking the tightrope. The back hand can push the wall. And this warrior two keeps me all on one plane for the most part, right? There's no perfection in it. We're not aiming for it. We're just noticing it. The front knee is bent. The back leg is straight. And as we lengthen over the front hand, we can take the block and we can put it on the outside, on the inside. I'm going with the inside and taking the top arm up. You can take it overhead. You can take it behind you. But we use the arm against the leg to help us turn the rib cage and look up. The aspect of a strengthening twist feels big. In fact, you are not turning much, and nonetheless, it makes for a safe twist. When you are ready, here comes that half moon. I want to put the block ahead of my front foot. If you need to look down, do what you need, but as soon as you can, look across the room and ahead Use a focal point and come into your pose and find your place and how you get to tap into your core strength. The back foot over time is going to climb higher. Your upper body over time is going to come lower. Each side a little bit different. This is great hip opening. We want to not lean in. We want to rely on the support of the back body. Then we want to return in the reverse, bending in the standing knee, working our way back, looking across the room, and finding that steady ground, walking the feet in. Great job. That was great. So we will continue this time with a rotation. And again, I'll give an option for if you have a wide space wall or if you have a narrow wall. If you have a wide space, you're going to stand sideways to the wall. And the leg closest to the wall, the inside leg, will be the front leg. The other leg back behind. The legs are straight. As you fold, your outside arm is going to go to the block, and the block will be where your other foot would have been if you were standing feet together. And then you'll simply turn, put your inside hand at the wall and push and rotate and turn, and just recognize that both arms are helping you with that rotation. If you have a narrow space at the wall, or if you have a bed or a couch or a chair that you would rather use, then I want you to work toward it. I will use this chair and pretend like my chair is the wall. So I am starting with a fold. I'm taking one leg back. The other leg is forward. I want to arrive with both legs straight. If my left leg is the front leg, my left hand stays with the wall. The other arm goes toward the floor to the block, and I get to keep rotating. The back heel to the floor is the challenge. You could use the seat of the chair or the bed or whatever you are using for leverage, but I am challenging you to take the bottom hand toward the floor for a deeper fold and twist. Stay one more breath. This was a tall order to stay a little bit longer. And then slowly work your way up. Bend in the front knee. Take the arms ahead, come upright with shoulder retraction, step the feet together, and we'll do all of that on the other side. I will again repeat both variations. If you are with a broad wall, your other side, inside leg is the front leg. The outside leg is the back leg. The legs are straight, the pelvis is square. Come and fold, put your outside hand on the block, put the inside hand on the wall. I have a few inches between me and the wall, more like 8 inches, and then rotating to turn, and just enjoy this twist. Again, if you are using the chair or a narrow wall, then you're going to fold halfway. Take one leg back. It's so much easier to start that way. The other leg forward, and keep separating your feet until you find that distance that gives you a challenge. If the right leg is the front leg, the right hand stays reaching and pushing ahead. The other arm is going to come down and find the block, and you get to turn and rotate and look up and back behind you regardless. Everybody will have the same action within the alignment. Try to stay really long through the torso. Bring the weight to the inner edges of the feet. Keep firming the legs. Notice how both arms are helping. This is a huge outer hip stretch. And then inhale, come upright, bend in the front knee, arms are ahead. All of a sudden we have a warrior one set up, and that tells us we are moving now toward a warrior one practice. Great.